All right, everybody, welcome back to the next round of Charlotte Pokemon Regional Championships 2018. I'm here with Connor Fenton. Over here, we're going to be bringing you the next match. And we've got Natalie Shampay back again with her Buzzwole Carbine Garbodor deck. We've seen her a couple times throughout this event so far. She is now at the point where a win is going to get her a little bit closer, not quite there yet, to that top 8 spot. But a loss would put her out of contention for the top 8. The same does go for our other player, Gibson Archer-Tang, or Gibby as many know him. A win puts him a little bit closer, a loss puts him out. So we are in these intense win and advance scenarios. You know, it's getting down to the wire for some of these players. It's been some long days for both of them. But let's talk a little bit about the decks. Connor, what do we have between both of these here?
Well, on the right, on the right we have Gibby, who's playing just like straight Gardevoir. That's a deck we haven't seen a lot recently. It did win the last World Championships, so that was set to go a different format. So much has changed since then, but this deck, Gibby's showing that it still has a shot in this format. It's still pushing through. And then we have Natalie, who's playing her Buzzwole Carbine deck, as we saw at St. Louis Regionals, where she got second place. It's a very powerful deck, and we've seen throughout this tournament that she's been doing very well with it. Of course, we jumped straight into the game, so if you want to...
Absolutely. So right off the bat, we see Natalie actually taking her Cynthia with nothing else. Not the start she wants. She opens top of the Lele, has to play a Cynthia before playing any cards. It's like she wasted her first turn supported by just saying, give me a new hand. I got to start this whole thing over again. But she does find a Buzzwole, a Fighting Energy, and a Nest Ball to be able to get an additional Pokemon as well, whether it be another Buzzwole or that Trebuchet. So it may have been a little bit of rough first couple cards, but that Cynthia seems to have set her up into a better place than where she may have been a moment ago.
Yeah. This Trubbish coming down is really big. This Garbodor is going to be incredibly crucial in this matchup. Gardevoir GX, its Secret String ability lets it attach an extra Fairy Energy from your hand to any of your Pokemon. So Gardevoir is going to load itself up with a bunch of Fairy Energies as it does more damage for how many energy between the two active Pokemon. So that's going to slow that down, as well as other Pokemon in Gibby's deck with abilities. He's got the Octillery for draw that we've seen so many times today. He's got an Eevee to evolve into a Sylveon GX, which again is something that we've seen as its own deck, but not as in this deck it's used to set up these Gardevoirs. The Garbodor is also gonna shut off the Mr. Mime, and that's gonna be really big too. Gibby is playing a Mr. Mime, and that shuts off all damage done to your bench Pokemon from your opponent's attacks. So it's gonna take off that 30 damage that Buzzwole will be doing to the benched Pokemon on Gibby's side. Just like Garbodor is such a strong card in this matchup, and a lot of how this matchup goes depends on how fast Natalie's able to get out that Garbodor and that Garbotoxin ability.
Absolutely, and Gibby does get his ideal start here, opening with a Ralts and going for the Ultra Ball Tapu Lele for a Wonder Tag to grab a Bridget. Exactly what he's hoping to look for, and we see that Mr. Mime hit the board immediately, as well as 2 other Ralts, who does not go for the Sylveon out in this area, and his run rate is prized, so his 1-1 Artillery is not going to make a show here.
Yeah.
That is exactly kind of what we wanted. Getting that Mr. Mime down, it's putting Natalie in a position that she needs to get that Garbodor online as quick as possible. If she doesn't, then that Buzzwole is going to be doing nothing more than the damage to the active. So the Jet Punch is only going to be doing 30 damage right now before any additional strong energies or anything like that come into play as well.
Yeah, it severely weakens how effective this deck can be, the Buzzwole deck can be, if that Mime is sitting there, not letting him put those 30 damage down on those Ralts. Usually this Buzzwole deck's going to take an easy prize early on a Ralts on the bench, do something like that. So note real quick, Natalie is Ultra Balled away a Floatstone, attached a Floatstone to her active, and she prized a Floatstone. So she only has 1 Floatstone left in her deck. It's going to be really difficult to get that Garbotoxin out, especially with a Floatstone on it, which is definitely your preferred tool in this matchup.
Yep, and Gibby is playing 2 copies of Field Blower. So 1 Field Blower right here is going to take out another 2 tools if he's able to find it. Both the Floatstone on that Tapu Lele and one of the Fighting Fury belts already. We do see a rare candy Gardevoir already from him as well. Gibby is starting this with exactly exactly the kind of combinations that he wants. Putting this turn 2 Gardevoir is like, it's really the only thing that you really need to be shooting for. He didn't really do much besides that after touching the double colorless, so it's already back to Natalie, playing her own Cynthia again, looking for a couple different outs here. She was not able to get a strong energy last turn, not able to get the Regirock or the Garbodor or any of that set up, so only really could do that 40 damage to the rolls. You don't really want to be taking 2 shots on the rolls when you're not doing the 30 damage to the bench as well.
Yeah, Natalie's trying to hit that tool. She sees the Garbotoxin, but I don't think she knows that that Floatstone's gone and that she only has the 1 out left in the deck. She does hit the Max Elixir.
Yeah, that was a good Max Elixir there. First 3 cards were all fighting energy. Didn't have to go any deeper, but does hit that there, which is pretty crucial to be able to get that Buzzwole up to the 2 energy. But it does also put it in danger of a Guzma being able to take it out with that Gardevoir that's pulling a double colorless on it already.
Yeah, if his hand has like DCE, Fairy, Guzma, then that Buzzwole will get knocked out. But she's assuming that's a lot of cards for him to have. It's kind of like, well, if you have this like 1 in 20 shot of having it, then fine, I lose this game. But otherwise, she can power up for an Absorption GX just to take this knockout on this Gardevoir really fast.
Now, it does come down for Gibby's side, putting Natalie down to a 5-card hand here. She did not take that Floatstone out of the prize, otherwise Yang would have actually ended up throwing it back into the deck anyways. But Gibby looking for new 6 cards here. He did Secret Spring his first Fairy Energy here. Not a very likely scenario where he's going to knock out this Buzzwole, so I don't really expect to see more energy come on this Gardevoir just yet. Gibby probably looking for either another Rare Candy Gardevoir or one of his 2 copies of Kirlia to get that Raltston to start the evolution process there as well.
Yeah, Gibby definitely needs to get more Gardevoir pieces out. He's got a Kirlia in hand, it looks like.
And a Rare Candy and an Ultra Ball.
Yeah, so he can get a couple more guys out if he wants to. We'll have to see what he decides to do. He attaches the Kirlia to his Raltston.
And we do see the Fairy Energy come down. Ultra Ball does discard that Super Rod and another one of his rare candies. He is only playing 1 copy of Super Rod. Now, unique to other decks, you don't have to play Puzzle of Time to reuse your resources in a Gardevoir deck. Gardevoir's Twilight GX does allow you to shuffle 10 of any cards into your deck at any point. So things like Super Rod, other things like that, you can be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to discarding them early because you do have the option to pick them back up later.
Yeah. So what's cool here is that Natalie sees that Gibby only has a 2-card hand and he just Leylaid for Sycamore. So you have to assume that so the only way for her to get Guzma this next turn, if that 1 card in her hand other than that is the Guzma, so she's fine with attaching that strong energy right down onto the Buzzwole because it needs to, Gibby would need energy and a Guzma, and he does not have both of those cards.
I was going to say, because I actually think the other card in his hand is a Guzma, which is what's funny.
I believe it's a Rare Candy.
Oh, I think he discarded the Rare Candy off the Ultra Ball, but we'll find out, of course, in a moment. But Sycamore does come down for Natalie. She does have to dump a couple of resources there. I believe it was, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 Guzmas. It just went 2 Guzmas into the discard pile from that.
Yeah. It's definitely not ideal. She does play 4 copies of the card, so it's not the worst thing ever, but...
We do see the first Parallel City coming down for Natalie as well. So Gibby really going to be wanting to look for a Field Blower soon to be able to try to knock that out, and maybe this Fighting Fury Belt if he's needs to be able to get to math. Actually, doesn't need to really worry about that Fighting Fury Belt. Does use a Sycamore. He had another Rare Candy in that hand. We're going to, of course, see a knockout on this active Buzzwole, but it's going to be what Gibby does to set up his bench Kirlia and getting that into another Gardevoir. That's what's really going to set up the next couple turns and kind of show us what we should be expecting to see.
Yeah, and Gibby's hand really doesn't have much. It's he's going to take these 2 prizes. He does take a Sycamore off the prizes, so that kind of fixes his dead hand problem. I'm assuming that Natalie's going to come up and take a knockout this turn. She has a couple options. If she hits a Fury Belt, she can Knuckle Impact. But if she uses the Knuckle Impact, then of course she can't attack the next turn with the Buzzwole.
I think it's safe to say, especially now that Gibby has that Sycamore, that if she decides to Knuckle Impact, she doesn't really need to worry about that. I have a feeling that Gibby's going to be able to make a response on this Buzzwole. He really only needs an energy and the Gardevoir, and he's already doing enough to knock it out because it doesn't have that Fighting Fury Belt. Either which way, Natalie does end up having to use the GX attack just to be safe. Doesn't even need an energy now. It's got that choice band. Wow, that was kind of nice fluid motions there from him.
Yeah. We'll have to see what he gets into.
It's a delay, but I don't think he got the
Gardevoir. He did not get a Gardevoir, so this Buzzwole is going to attack again this turn, which is very strong for Natalie. It's going to take another knockout. There's nothing that Gibby here can do to stop this Buzzwole from shattering something.
Yeah, Gibby got a lot of energy there. Now, the risky move by attaching that double colorless to the Ralts as he did is that he doesn't really have a way to be able to attack this turn outside of this Curlia, but getting a double tails means no damage. Even one heads would have actually been 100 damage onto that Buzzard and would have set it up to be able to take a knockout with the Glade the following turn. But because of the double tails, he gets nothing off of that Curlia. That just, like, if you're in Gibby's position there, that has to hurt knowing that you gave up 3 energy, a Choice Bait, and a Curlia in that situation. But we do have to see the Glade here. He doesn't really have a choice.
And he's not even going to play a supporter card, so this Sensitive Blade is only going to do 70 damage.
60, actually.
Sorry, 60, you're right.
60. The good thing is, the good thing is for Natalie is that she was able to just complete the game by having the Guzma there in order to take the knockout on that Tapu Lele GX on the bench. We're going into game 2 with Gibby down a game, choosing to probably go first here. So this is going to be an interesting series. Already starting off with an explosive bang. Besides, of course, finding more than just that one Gardevoir, what does Gibby really need to be able to kind of do to change this the way this is going?
Gibby, well, if he can get his Octillery out, he can start drawing. Of course, there is the Garbotoxin, but he does play those Field Blowers. So he needs to hit his Field Blowers at good times. He needs to get more than one Gardevoir out. A Gardevoir deck with only one Gardevoir isn't all that strong.
No, I would say at that point, why not just play the Zoroark Gardevoir version? The good thing about this is that you get a lot more energy, and you get that focus on the Gardevoir as opposed to the Zoroark GX. I gotta say, I was favoring Gibby coming into this matchup just basically on the paper of the 2 decks alone. I've known that Buzzard has always had a little bit of a hard time dealing with Gardevoir, and one of its only ways that it did that was that Lycan Rocket. By not having a Lycan Rocket, replacing it for the Garbodor, I felt like it was going to be a little bit harder for Natalie to be able to push through this win. Gibby does have 2 Field Blowers and everything, and even without the abilities, just being able to attack with Infinite Force for a couple energy was enough to be able to really put that deck on the ropes. But Natalie did take that first game. We've done a very poor job at actually picking the favorites on paper all throughout the weekend.
Well, we've done a good job of picking the favorites on paper, but on paper isn't always how things go. So
exactly. So both players still shuffling up, getting ready for this match. They are moving quickly too. That match only took 12 minutes. It was a full complete game. Both players getting their basics down. No mulligans from either side. We're seeing the price camps being set out, so we'll be able to cut to those in just a moment, so that way we can kind of see what resources are going to be missing from each player's deck. Natalie opening with the card bank to Gibson's Alolan Vulpix start. That is probably the second best Pokemon that you want to start with in your deck. First one probably being an Eevee, but Alolan Vulpix being a wonderful card to open with in this matchup. But Gibby just going for a pass there.
Wow, yeah, this could be a fast one for Natalie here. She has a strong energy knockout. If Gibby doesn't top deck anything, Gibby just loses the game already.
Natalie Shampay too. Oh, just wow. That was not the way that we expected that one to go. Gibby immediately having to concede, and that will end his run going to top 8. A heartbreaking moment for Gibby, but Natalie just getting a little bit closer to that top 8 spot. She has got to be feeling good here today.
I know Natalie was stressed out coming into this matchup saying, this is a really rough matchup for me, really hard, but she pulled out that first game, and Gardevoir isn't the most consistent deck in the format, and so she took advantage of that game too and just, ended it as quickly as you really can in this format.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be cutting back in just a moment, guys. We're going to get a winner's interview over here with Natalie. Going to have a little bit of time between these rounds, but give us just a second so we can hear a little bit from her.
Thank you, guys.